Alright, so there was a point in my life where my week looked something like this. Wake up, go to work, come home, scroll my phone, sleep, and repeat. And every single Sunday night, without fail, I'd get this quiet, creeping feeling that something was wrong. Like time was sort of just passing by and I wasn't actually doing anything with it. Like I was just watching my 20s go by from the sidelines. And the worst part is, I genuinely couldn't even point to what the problem was. I wasn't unhappy exactly. I had a good job, a nice home, pretty much a good life on paper. But there was just this nagging voice in the back of my head going, is this really it? Like, is this all what your 20s are supposed to feel like? If you felt that, then this video is for you. Because over the last 2 years, I've worked out 3 things that basically got rid of that feeling completely for me. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through all 3. So hopefully you can stop feeling like you're wasting your 20s and actually start feeling like you're building something valuable. If you're new here, hello, my name is James. I'm a software engineer and entrepreneur, and I'm on a mission to build my best life. On this channel, I take you along on my journey and share the lessons, systems, and habits I've learned over the years to help you do that too. Let's go. Alright, so the first thing I realized is that the feeling of wasting my 20s was actually really vague, like annoyingly vague. And the problem with vague feelings is that you just can't solve them. You can't fix wasting my 20s the same way you can fix I need to exercise more or I need to sleep earlier. There's no clear thing to do because there's no clear definition of what the problem even is. And here's what I think is actually going on. The reason most of us feel like we're wasting our lives isn't some deep character flaw within us. It's just that we've never actually sat down and defined what a not wasted life actually looks like for us. Like imagine someone grabbed you right now and asked you, what does a well-lived life look like to you specifically? Could you actually answer that? Because honestly, when I first asked myself that question, I couldn't, which is kind of terrifying when you think about it. How are you supposed to build something when you don't even know what you are building? For me, the thing that actually cracked the code was coming across the story of a guy called Ali Banat. And this is a real story, by the way. He was a young entrepreneur who was successful, wealthy, and basically had everything that most people are chasing. He thought he had it all. But one day, he got diagnosed with terminal cancer. The doctor told him he only had 7 months left to live. And what he did next was actually extraordinary. Instead of spending his remaining time clinging to everything he'd built or spending his money lavishly, he actually donated all of it. He started building schools and hospitals for kids in West Africa. He started a charity called MATW, which is still running to this day, by the way. The charity keeps doing these charitable projects even years after he passed away in 2018. And when I came across his story, something genuinely shifted in me. Not just because it was so moving, but because it showed me what an individual like you and me is actually capable of achieving. Here was someone who found something so clear and so meaningful to do with his time that it sustained him through one of the hardest things a person can even go through. For me, seeing this story gave me a super ambitious level of achievement to aspire to. It made me really want a life where the work I do actually matters and leaves a mark behind. So that became my vision and my direction. But honestly, with time, even that felt kind of vague. I want to make an impact doesn't tell you what to do on a Tuesday night after work. So I found the most useful follow-up question was this. If that's the direction I'm heading, what does a day in that life actually look like? Not the legacy, not the end result, just a normal day. What am I working on? Who am I helping? What does it feel like to wake up knowing what I'm building? I wrote it all down, and even just getting it out of my head and onto the paper made it feel so much more real and tangible. The nice thing about this is that when you have it written down, you can always go back to it when things feel foggy and you start getting demotivated, instead of just sort of swimming in this vague cloud of dread. And honestly, just doing that exercise completely changed how I felt about my 20s. Because now, instead of this floating anxiety, I had a direction. And a direction, even a rough and imperfect one, is 1,000 times better than nothing. But here's the thing. Once I had that vision, The feeling didn't disappear, it kind of just changed. Instead of I don't know what I want, it became I know what I want, but I'm not doing anything about it. Honestly, that felt even worse because now the gap between where I was and where I wanted to be was just right there, fully visible, right in front of me. And I think a lot of us get stuck exactly here. You know what you want, but the distance between your current life and your dream life is so massive, it feels almost pointless to even try. So you don't. And that Sunday night feeling just comes right back. What fixed this for me was building a system to basically connect where I am today to where I want to be. And what that looks like practically is just breaking the big vision down into smaller and smaller pieces until tonight's task is actually doable. Like if I have this long-term picture of my dream life, what would I need to accomplish this year to be moving towards it? And what does that mean for this week? And when I get down to that level, suddenly my task for tonight isn't build your dream life, and instead it's something like write the script for one YouTube video. And that I can actually do, even on a Tuesday night when my brain is completely fried. For me specifically, my long-term vision involves building a creative business outside my 9 to 5. So my yearly goal might be reaching a certain milestone with this channel. My monthly goal then becomes something like make one complete video. And my weekly task might just be write the script this week. Suddenly, what was this massive vague dream became something I can open my laptop and start tonight. And look, one thing I'd really add here, don't over-engineer the system. I had to learn this the hard way. I've genuinely spent entire Sunday afternoons just building out the perfect Obsidian setup instead of just doing the actual work. The system should take you maybe 15 minutes or so to set up, not 4 hours. Keep it simple enough that it doesn't become its own form of procrastination. Because yeah, planning to do the work is not the same as doing the work. I've confused the two more times than I'd like to admit. And the moment I had something simple that actually worked, that second version of the dread went away too. Because I wasn't just dreaming about my future anymore, I was actually doing something about it. Now, you'd think at this point I'd have it all figured out. I had my vision, I had my system, I was doing the work, and honestly, things were better. But then, maybe 3 or 4 weeks in, that Sunday night feeling started creeping back in. And I genuinely could not figure out why, because I was doing the work. And then I realized what was actually going on. I was making progress, but I just wasn't seeing it. Like I'd sit down on a Sunday night, and even though I'd done things throughout the week, my brain couldn't actually recall what I'd done or how far I even moved. And what your brain can't see, it doesn't count. So as far as my brain was concerned, no real progress had been made. And that feeling of I'm kind of wasting my time quietly came back. Now, the fix for this is honestly almost embarrassingly simple. Like I'm a little reluctant to even say it out loud. I just started keeping a record of what I actually did. Literally, just a note on my phone. What I did today and what I want to do next. That's it. It takes me maybe 2 minutes after a work session or just before bed. But here's what actually surprised me. After doing this consistently for about a month, I went back and read through all my entries, and I was kind of shocked. I had done so much more than I remembered. There were tasks I'd completely forgotten about, problems I'd solved, things I'd figured out, and literally none of it had registered in my brain because I'd never given my brain the chance to even see it. That's when I understood that the feeling of wasting my time wasn't even based on reality. It was based on what my brain could remember, which it turns out is basically nothing after a few days. The record fixed that. Because now, when Sunday night comes around, instead of that vague dread, I can just look back and go, okay, I did this, and this, and this. I moved. And that's genuinely enough to make the feeling go away. Your brain needs proof that time is not slipping through your fingers, and you're the only one who can give it that proof. So, to bring it all together, if you feel like you're wasting your 20s, it's probably one of these three things. You haven't actually defined what a not wasted life looks like for you. You have a vision, but no system connecting it to what you're doing tonight. or you're making progress but not recording it, so your brain just can't see it. Fix all three, and that Sunday night feeling has nowhere to live. And look, I'm not going to pretend this is some permanent magic cure. I still catch myself falling back into that dread sometimes, usually after a chaotic week where everything just kind of got away from me. But having these three things in place means I now know exactly where the feeling is coming from and what exactly to do about it. By the way, if you struggle with actually sitting down after work and doing the thing, when the couch is right there, I have a video right over here where I share the exact mindset shifts that help me do that consistently. Go check it out if you'd like. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.